All right, guys. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Um, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room, guys. All right, Joe Biden. That's who we're gonna be taking a look at today, and we're gonna look at his behavior and what's been transpiring from a astrological perspective. Okay, so just in case, I'm sure you guys, some of you have seen the debate, some of you have not. A lot of you guys watched the sit down interview with George Stephanopoulos. Some of you have not, but yes, the elephant in the room is that what he's on a cognitive decline, right? So we're going to take a look at his chart, his natal chart, and also we're going to look at some of the transits, and we're going to look at some of the things that contribute to cognitive decline. Okay, so we're going to look at the planetary alignments that makes a cognitive decline possible. Okay, if that makes sense. All right. So we did get his birth time. If you guys want to put this in a program or follow along with me, please do. All right. So it's going to take our time because it's a lot to unfold. All right. All right, so Joe Biden, we know he was born November 20th, 1942 at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Wartime, all right? Now, don't get along about the Eastern Wartime. The Eastern Wartime is similar to Eastern Standard Time, all right? He was born in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Now, his son, just pay attention to the pointer here, all right? So I'm going to point different planetary alignments out and also different types of aspects, okay, that's gonna create that situation where he is having a cognitive decline. Okay, so I want you guys to kind of learn from this. All right, so his sun is at 27 degrees of Scorpio. Okay, his Mercury is at 21 degrees of Scorpio, and his Venus is at 28 degrees of Scorpio. Now, all these planets are in the 12th house. Okay, the 12th house is one of the weaker houses. So when you have Mercury inside of a house like that, it's actually accidentally in its detriment, okay? Because Mercury in Pisces is in his detriment. So already accidentally he has a cognitive deficiency just right there alone, okay? So just keep that in mind, guys, all right? So when you have Mercury, and it really depends on what sign it's in. It's in Scorpio, so yes, he has those deep, dark sexual secrets. All right, we're not even gonna get into all that yet. But right now, we're just really talking about his cognitive decline, okay? Because that's what's really showing. But when you got Mercury in the 12th house, yes, it's that's the house of Pisces. So Mercury doesn't do good in Pisces. It's very detrimental in Pisces. So it creates a lot of delusion and a lot of fuzzy headness and fuzziness in the mind. Okay, so and we're going to get more into that because it's going to be repeat patterns of that. All right, in his natal chart. Okay, so but what's really creating this cognitive decline is that his sun is in the 12th house, his Mercury is in the 12th house as well. So that's going to happen to him later on in life. Okay, the 12th house is the last house. So that's later on, just like the first house is the first half of your life, okay, your childhood and stuff like that. So this is not his fault. He was designed to have this, okay? He was born like this, okay? So, all events in life are time released, and it's being released now. So this is nothing new. This was going to happen anyway. It doesn't even matter. No matter how you slice the pie, it was going to happen anyway. Another thing you want to look at is the third house. The third house, that's another place you want to look at. But just get back to Mercury. As you guys know, Mercury represents what? Thought, how you reason, how you think, how you communicate. So just keep that in mind. The way he's communicating right now is representing, what's going on right now, isn't it? So let's look at the third house really quick. So as you can see, the third house, that in itself, The third house cusp at 13 degrees of Aquarius. That's creating the square with Mars right here. Okay, so he's been dealing with a lot of cognitive issues for most part of his life, but he's, a lot of things that has helped him out. It really has. For example, one thing that's helped him out throughout his life is his Saturn. His Saturn, it is in Gemini, although it's retrograde, it does create a nice little trine with Pallas and also the third house cusp. So that gives him the ability to really focus and be disciplined as he speaks. All right. Another thing that gave him a little bit more detail in becoming what he has become is also Uranus. And also that's creating a nice little trine with Neptune. Now, Saturn has a trine with Neptune as well up in the 10th house, although it is separating, but it's actually going back to that 1 degree, okay, because it's retrograde, okay? So just keep that in mind. He has a nice little grand trine going with that, but that's early on in life. But what really gets it is the really kind of decline is coming from the grand square that I'm about to point out, okay? So if you look in the third house right here, you got the south node is 0 degrees of Pisces, all right? Now we already know that is at a critical degree with that 0, right? So, and it's in Pisces. So, Pisces, it rules delusion, right? And it, like I said before, it can make your mind cloudy. So when you speak, when you think, you can sound incoherent, okay? So we got that going on. And like I said, we got Vista right here. That's an Aquarius, okay? So, and that's creating a square with Mars. So, like I said, this is something that's been ongoing, but he's had help. He's been able to kind of overcome this throughout his life, okay? The entire thing about him, the way he thinks, the way he moves and stuff like that. So, but I'm just pointing out some things that's creating this cognitive decline. And what's creating this cognitive decline is this grand square from the south node to his sun, because that's a square right there. All right, so you got a square coming from the third house, which how you communicate, it's how you speak, how you think. So again, you got that repeat pattern right there, and it is squaring his sun. And also it's squaring Uranus. Okay, Uranus is right here in Gemini, and it's retrograde, and it's in the 6th house. That's a health house. So just keep that in mind. So you got the south node squaring Uranus. Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury. Okay, so again, we're talking about how you think, communicate. You got Uranus, which represent ideas. So and also it also represents decisions. So Uranus represents decisions. So his decision making is off right now, and Uranus is in opposition of his sun. Okay, so that's just natally, but that's what's creating this cognitive decline. And you got this south node, the north node, of course, is in opposition. Uranus is squaring the north node. So you got a grand square going on, okay? So that's what's creating his cognitive decline right now, all right? Now, what happened during the debate? Let's just take a look at that, all right? Now, the debate, yeah, it was terrible. I would have suggested him to, probably postpone it, but he couldn't. It was just nowhere around it. So if you take a look, guys, look at his third house. Again, we're going to look at how he thinks and communicates, right? So you got his third house. You got Saturn in the third house, and it's in Pisces. Now, it's been there for a while, okay? So that's, Saturn, it rules falling, okay? So that's why he's been kind of falling up steps, tripping and stuff like that, being incoherent because, Saturn rules restriction. So it's very restrictive. It's a very restrictive planet. So it's going to do those things. So these transits, and again, he's on the outside wheel. Well, the transit's on the outside wheel, guys. All right. So this is the planetary alignment that was going on during the debate. Okay. And his natal chart is on the inside. So you got transit in Saturn right here in his third house. That's why he was talking so slow, not being coherent. He was sounding very delusional like, right? Very fuzzy-minded. So that Pisces creates a situation where you have a fuzzy mind, okay? So, and it's in a restrictive state of Saturn, okay? It's in a very restrictive planet. So he's going to be talking slow, moving slow. That's just a cycle he's in right now when it comes to Saturn right here. And also, you got Mars right here. It's in Taurus. Mars is in his detriment of Taurus, right? All right, so, and it's in the sixth house. That's another thing that on that night, it was just a bad planetary alignment on that night. So it was a bad night for him. He was right. It was a bad night. However, he should have had some type of advisor by his side saying, you know what? Well, he would have had to have somebody like me, to suggest, hey, this is not going to be a good night. You might want to do this and do that in order to, get through the night. But the planetary alignments was just so detrimental to him. It was going to turn out like this anyway. You got Mars right there. It's creating a square with Vesta. Vesta is how you focus. It's what you focus on. So his energy, he didn't even have enough energy to focus correctly. His natal Vesta is in the third house. It's absolute with transiting Mars right there, 13 degrees of Taurus. And it's squaring the third house. Vesta is in the third house, and it's squaring it. It's also squaring the third house cusp. So he had a double whammy going on. So his thinking and communicating, the energy wasn't even there for him to think and communicate and focus. So, and also on top of that, he had Uranus right here. It's in opposition of his natal sun. And so again, guys, and right now he still has Mars going through his sixth house, and that's service, right? It rules service as well. So he's doing service with the country, but as you know, Taurus, it rules stubbornness, right? So he's too stubborn to step down for the sake of the country, right? But he does need to step down though, but because I can tell you right now, guys, we're going to take a look at this next debate. If he does do this next debate, which I suggest that he do not, because if he does, his campaign is over. I'm being honest with you. Let's just take a look at that. Let's take a look at the next debate. That's happening September 10th? September 10th. And more than likely, guys, they're going to, since he said he have to be in bed at 8 o'clock, before 9, we're going to put this thing at, let's just put it at 6 o'clock, all right, to see what's going on. All right, so 6 o'clock. Let's take a look at the planetary alignments at 6 o'clock on September 10th. Now, you choose. You let me know, should he attend this next debate, because I'm telling you right now, if he does, he'll probably end up, like I said, look at the moon too. The moon is in his first house. I'm telling you, it's just not doing really good. You know what I'm saying? Let's just take a look. We still got Saturn in the third, right? We got Saturn in the third is retrograding back. So we can see that, right? So we know he's going to be slowly thinking again. Now, what I really want you to look at is take a look at Uranus in the sixth house. It's at 27 degrees of Taurus. All right. Uranus is in his fall in Taurus right now. So, and again, this is in the sixth house, and Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury again. So his thought process is going backwards. All right. His decision making is going backwards because Uranus rules decisions, right? It's in a total opposition. I mean, absolute with his sun. His sun is at 27 degrees of Scorpio. So it's a complete opposition. Okay. So that in itself is going to create a situation where he's going to make bad decisions when he's speaking. As he's talking, he's going to make bad decisions because he has Uranus in complete opposition of him. Okay. And again, we got Paulus. We got Paulus also in the 12th house. It's in a critical degree of 0 degrees of Sag. So he's going to have repeat patterns of forgetting things. Okay? Repeat patterns because Paulus is in the 12th. That's the house of Pisces. Very elusive. So, and what is that doing? What is Paulus doing? Well, it is making a complete square to what? His natal south node in the 3rd house. So he's going to have repeat patterns of forgetting different things, different subject matters. Okay. So the next debate is going to be worse than the first one. So that's what I'm saying. So he actually has a T square. No, it's a grand square again. That's another thing. It's a grand square. So he has another grand square on that day of just repeat patterns. Look at Mercury. Transiting Mercury is at 2 degrees of Virgo. That's going to be completely square in his what? Natal Uranus. Again, just ideas about foreign policy because as you know, there's a touch screen, didn't even know. Look, as you know, the 9th house rules foreign policy, okay? So he has Mercury in the 9th house, transiting in his 9th house, squaring Uranus in the 6th. So again, that health house, that thinking, how he thinks and communicates, a grand square with Mercury, Uranus, the south node, also the north node we got right here, and also Paulus. And don't forget, guys, his ascendant. So his ascendant is at 3 degrees of Sag. So his, Mercury transiting is going to be squaring his ascendant. So we know that next debate that he's going to have September 10th is, it's going to be, he's done. Okay. He's done. If he doesn't step down now, if they don't get anybody to replace him, he will lose the election. That's correct. Okay. So I know who's going to win the election. Other astrologers know who's going to win. I'm not going to expose that right now. And the reason being, we don't sway anybody's vote. Okay. That's not ethical with us. So, but I will say, they will probably find a viable option again. Okay. Other than him. Of course, he's stubborn right now. He doesn't want to step down, of course. That's just that Uranus in Taurus giving him that stubbornness, okay? Not to step down right now, but yeah, they're going to probably force him to step down. So, but yeah, man, I just wanted to give you guys a gist of what's going on with him and why he's in a cognitive decline. And to be honest with you guys, anytime you have Saturn going through your 3rd house like this, you're going to have, and we all go through this, okay? We all have Saturn going through our 3rd house. And I'm telling you right now, you're not going to be thinking very clearly. You're going to think a little slower than usual, depending on what sign is in your 3rd house. But it's going to slow you down a little bit. Whether it's your vehicle, your mobility, you will get slowed down. Okay, because Saturn is very restrictive. He just have multiple things creating a situation where he's gonna have that cognitive decline. Okay, and his natal planetary alignment is there creating a cognitive decline because he was just born to have a cognitive decline. Okay, so it's not his fault. Anytime you have Mercury in the 12th house like that, and the sun there, and it's squaring something in the 3rd, and also in opposition to something in the 6th. Whether it's your sun or Mercury, any type of thinking planets, thinking asteroids, or the nodes, you're going to have some type of cognitive decline. That's just how it is, guys. So I just wanted to kind of point those things out. And hey, this is what's going on with Joe Biden right now. So hopefully he will not do that next debate. Okay. If he does, you already know what's about to happen. I mean, the moon rules saliva, so he might start slobbing. I don't know. He even last night with George Stephanopoulos, let's just take a look at last night. What happened last night? I mean, he was kind of drooling right then. I mean, so yeah. Oh, it was the new moon actually. So so we had that going on. So we had the moon. It's at 23 degrees of Cancer. All right. So of course we had again Saturn right there in the third house, of course. Now we had Mars again, 19 degrees. Uranus at 25. These planets are all moving slowly, right? We had all these things right here, and that's opposing his sun. Again, that's opposing his sun right there. What else we got right here? Okay. All right. So let's take a look at a couple of other things in his chart. So we don't want to miss nothing too hot. And of course, his sun, that's squaring his 11th house cuffs, which rules politics, right? So he did have some good stuff going on last night. He tried to reassure the people, right? He did try to do that. So, you know, with this nice little trine from the moon to his sun, natal sun, he was trying, guys. He was really trying to do that. So somehow he may have ignited a little bit of his party, but for the most part, guys, he may not be able to ignite, you know, his party at full spectrum. So, but I had to point this out, guys. I know I've been missing in action. That's because I had to kind of step back just for a moment. And I've done this before, like 3 months. I remember 3 months before COVID hit, or, you know, 6 months before, I had to be able to kind of take things in, and, you know, because, you know, knowing the future is a double-edged sword. Okay. Once you know something's happening and there's no stopping it from happening, you have to kind of take in outcomes. Okay. And we got a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of events coming up around the world that's going to affect everybody. So I had to kind of just, you know, kind of step back. And even when COVID, I knew that's what was going on. Couldn't really come out to say it or anything like that. I know a lot of people was dying. I told a lot of my clients, of course, to help, you know, protect them, and so they could take proper precautions. This time I'll probably do the same with all of you guys. So I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm definitely gonna be telling you guys what's going on around the world, so you can prepare yourself, protect yourself and your family and stuff like that. All right. I just wanted to point out Joe Biden, because this is one of those deals that's going to affect everybody, right? We got plenty of other videos coming up, of course, for relationships and stuff. A lot of that coming up. So just on the grind now, guys, and I will get back with you guys on the next one. But I definitely wanted to point out, you know, Joe Biden's chart, and so you guys can understand what's going on with him. Okay. Yes, he's up old age. Yes, he's in cognitive decline. But he was designed to be like that. All right. So you guys hit the like button. Remember to share this video, and I'll get back with you guys on the next one. Peace.